The Leafs' biggest game of the season, a chance to clinch on home ice for the first time in decades. And the Leafs score 4-0, 0 across the board, and a combined minus 14. Hayes, Boudreau, time to speak your minds. Hayes, let's begin with you. Give me the words that best describe what you saw from the Leafs last night.
Predictable, unsurprising replay. It was a replay of a movie I've seen many, many times in the past. I think we all have. Every Leaf fan has. Anyone that watches this team or tracks the Stanley Cup playoffs and the history of the Maple Leafs over the last 9 years. Their best players, the core four players, they just simply didn't show up last night. The lights were too bright. It's very difficult to continue to explain or come up with reasons because, again, we've seen it for so long, guys. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, John Tavares, they all had their worst game of the series last night. After losing Game 4, you're at home. You have a chance to put away an Ottawa team that is very raw. This isn't the Boston Bruins. This isn't the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Florida Panthers. This is a team in Ottawa that has no playoff experience. And to Ottawa's credit, they're showing up and saying, if you don't want it, we'll take it. And that's what the Ottawa Senators did last night. And I think it's very, very disappointing, yet again, unsurprising if you're in the building, if you're a Leaf fan, if you've been tracking this team, because we've seen it so many times before. 1-13 in closeout games. The power play completely goes to sleep, and it has the last two games. 0-for-7 in the last two games on the power play, giving up two shorthanded goals. That's the core four. They're all out there, and they're dragging Matthew Nyes into it. So, unfortunately for Leaf fans and these core four players, it is a story we have seen before. They simply did not show up, and the pressure is going to build and build and build. And if we see a replay in Game 6 and a replay in Game 7, I can't even imagine how people are going to react to that.
Guys, if you want to be considered among the best in the game, you got to deliver at the most critical moments, but they're just not doing that. This was not an isolated game, though, guys. The Leafs' best are awesome during the regular season, and then they wilt in the playoffs. Bruce, as a coach, is there anything Craig Berube can do to break this pattern, or is this fully on the players themselves?
Well, to me, it's got to be on the players. I mean, the coach is going to scratch his head and he's going to think, what kind of approach can I use to get these guys to play better? And I'm sure he's going to try everything. But there's anything short of changing all the lines up and distributing different ice times to different people. I mean, what is he going to do? He's going to come in. He's going to be positive. He's going to say, hey, boys, we're playing good. We're just not getting the breaks. Everybody's doing their job, showing positive highlights, doing all of the things that the coach can do. But in the end, it's up to the players. And you're right, the core four have got to get better. I mean, what's that definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again and looking for a different result? It's not happening. So, I mean, the coach has got to come in here. I don't think it's a time to kick them in the butt and say, you guys stink, you got to get better. But, I mean, that might be another alternative to it. He might do something that is totally off the wall that he hasn't done before, and this might be the thing to do, is call them all out. I mean, nobody seems to want to call them out unless it's the media or the fans. But in the locker room, it's always, hey, you know, come on, we can be better, we can be better. Maybe it's time to do that. Maybe it's time to call them out in front of everybody and say, you're the guys that are getting paid. You're the guys that we're counting on. We've been doing this for a long time. Come on, you guys got to do it now.
We're still talking like this, but the Leafs are in control. They can still win the series. 2 more games to win 1 to advance. Huge advantage for the Leafs. But even if they do advance, guys, I want to ask this question to both of you. Let's start with Hayes. Is there still any sort of belief this is a new Leafs team, or is this the same old Leafs still destined for yet another huge playoff disappointment?
I think you have to separate this into 2 categories, Gino, based on what we've been talking about here the last few minutes. I think there's the core four and their history and their inability to step up in the biggest moments. And maybe that happens in Game 6 if they win. Maybe that happens in Game 7 and they win. And it's, opinions are subject to change, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think Leaf fans look at this, and I look at this, as the core four and then everyone else. I think everyone else, like Craig Berube, Anthony Stolarz, I really like what they've done defensively here. I like the way that they've played. I like the structure. I like the depth of this team and the way that they've shown up for the most part. I can believe in that. I can believe that that's different. All of it has turned over year over year over year when you consider the last 9 years. You have a new coach. You got new goalies. You got new defensemen. You got new depth forwards. Everything else is turned over. So if the Leafs win, I think everyone, myself included, will look at that group and say, okay, I believe that is different. I don't think that's going to be the case with the core four until they go much deeper in the playoffs and until they have signature moments in the biggest games. Not games 1 through 4, but games 5 through 7. That's how you win Stanley Cups. You need your best players to break through and overperform. Not just perform at a certain level. Certainly you can't underperform, which we've seen for a long time. You have to elevate round after round after round. And the reality is it's only going to get more difficult. With all due respect to Ottawa, again, they're raw. They're a young team. They're still trying to find their way here. Wait until you run into Florida. Wait until maybe Carolina or Washington are waiting for you. It's going to get more difficult. So to answer your question, it's a two-part answer, Gino. With the rest of the group, yes, I could get on board with that this could be different and they might actually take this team somewhere. With the core four, I don't think it's going to change between now and Game 6. Game 7, it's going to have to take a lot more than that.
Well, to me, they have to win not only this series and win it convincingly in the next game. Hopefully it's the next game and not Game 7. But they also have to win in Florida, or people are going to be saying the same old things. Same old things over and over and over again. So, the core four, or whether it's the core five, or you add Morgan Riley, you add anybody, they've got to come to the forefront, because when you look through history, you look at all the great players. What are we looking at? We're not looking at the regular season, what they've done. You look at Nathan McKinnon, what he did in the playoffs when they won the cup. You look at Sidney Crosby when they won the cup. You can go back to Bobby Orr and every great player in between. And it's all what they do in the playoffs. So their legacy is going to be what they do in the next 2 games for sure, but hopefully if they win that, what they do against Florida, or what they do against after that, what they do against Washington or Carolina. So it's got to be up to them, and they know it, and they've got to come through with it. And until they do, then nothing's going to change. And we've said this every year, but if they don't have success in the timeline that we've just said, that this team cannot be the same next year. And it's no matter how good they play defensively, no matter how good their goaltending is, anything, they will have to change it, because the fans of the Maple Leafs cannot go through this for another year and then not believe when it comes to playoff time. So this is what's on them right now. So it's a lot of pressure on that core four, but the great ones come through, and they come through all the time. So it's about time. We've waited, we've been patient. It's about time they come through with this.
All right, 5 seconds each to wrap here, guys. Critical question: Stolarz or Woll for game number 6? Hayes, you start, then I want to hear from you, Coach.
Anthony Stolarz. It's such a panic move to even think of Joseph Woll, and he's not the reason they're in this situation. Don't even think about it if you're Craig Berube. It's Anthony Stolarz, Game 6.
100%, Brian. If they think about that and they make that change, they're done before they start. It's got to be Stolarz. It's his net. He's doing fine. He's had one little blip in the last 20 games. So let's be serious here. Let's not even go there.
When the Sens won Game 4 on home ice to stay alive, Brady Tkachuk went to center ice and told Sens fans, "We'll be back for Game 6. They delivered. Now it's time to see if the Leafs can play with similar determination and spoil any potential further celebration in the nation's capital.